what is this? It's amazing. Sometimes, believe it or not, even though, it feels like it's impossible, you go to Vegas or you go to Reno and you gamble, and sometimes you get lucky, right? And you win. Sometimes there are people out there who win the lottery.
Are you
And
saying you feel honored that I'm here? You feel so lucky that I'm here.
lucky, yes. Honored is a stretch. I'm not going to say I feel honored to have you on the show that you and I started together, because that would be ridiculous. But lucky, yeah, it does feel like we won the lottery. And it's like, oh my gosh, we saw Bigfoot twice. And it's like, that's kind of what it feels like. And I'm not calling you Bigfoot.
You should have said mermaid. Why didn't you say we saw a mermaid twice? Duh.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I feel like there's a greater chance that Bigfoot is real than stupid mermaids.
You see
I'm sorry.
one,
That
you
was
see one
aggressive.
every time we talk, so whatever.
I shouldn't have said that. That was too aggressive. That seemed mean.
That's very aggressive. I think
Uh,
you're just excited to see me. That's okay.
you say that every week, and you know what though? I'll say this. I'm glad that I have a co-host that has such great self-esteem. As much as I talk
Yeah.
trash about you,
Yeah.
because every week you come in like, he must be so excited to see me. Okay,
It's okay. You can't bring
okay,
this maid down. Even
that's
with
good.
COVID, you can't bring her down.
You want to talk about that? Yeah, I didn't realize. I thought mermaids were immune to COVID. Apparently not.
I thought I was. Yeah, of course I would get the tail end of it. I was just telling Josh, during COVID, during the, when everything shut down, me and my teacher friends, we were like, oh great, here we go. Like, our school district being dramatic. So we called it Coronacation for the first week. We just
Yeah.
we didn't understand. No one knew. We didn't know, so I'm not trying to make fun of the pandemic as a whole, but I mean, anyway, so that being said, for the past 2 years, I have done my best with, you know, social distancing, wear my mask when I need to, trying to be responsible. But I'll tell you, I haven't been the most responsible. That's for sure. And I haven't gotten it until now. And but I'm not complaining because my symptoms are at the worst mild. Like at
Yeah.
like the tiniest cold in the world, like not stay at home worthy, that's for sure. Like I definitely would have gone to work if this was a different era. So
Sure.
anyway,
There you go.
we're almost done though. I think I can go to work on Monday. So
Oh, nice.
yeah,
Okay. Well, good. I'm glad it's not too bad.
no.
Um,
So
and thanks for letting us know that you've been responsible and then not responsible at the same time.
I mean, like I'll be respectful. And if a place is
Sure.
asking me to put a mask on, I will. Like, I'm not even going to try to make it a political, like, I'm not going to like, okay,
Yeah.
I'll put it on. And if people are requesting it in their personal homes, whatever. I wore a mask when my nephew was born. My nephew was literally a pandemic baby. My sister was like, you live in SAC. I know you're out and about. I know you're not. So you need to wear a mask when you come over. So I get it. So yeah, like I said, to the best of my ability, but I didn't exactly stay at home a ton. So nor do I still to this day. But here we are. I think everyone at some point is going to get it. I
Yeah,
think.
definitely. I mean, I think it's probably a strong possibility. And
Yeah.
obviously, and this, we've had this conversation before. I'm just giving you a hard time because it just sounded funny the way you worded it. It was just like black and white so quickly. Obviously, I've told you this before. Like my thought is, if people are worried about it, I think you just gotta kind of handle your own family, your own business, and then what other people do is kind of their business. I know some people
Yeah.
don't necessarily agree with that, but that's just my personal opinion. So
Right.
it's a bummer that you had to miss work and all that, but
Yeah.
it doesn't sound like it's been too bad, which is awesome.
Yeah. I socialize a lot at work. So it's been very disappointing.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say you do go. That's what I was saying earlier. You do go out quite a bit, so I imagine that this is a rough stretch. Rough stretch.
I've had a lot of phone calls and FaceTimes from my friends, so that's been nice. So I've had a chance to socialize, just not on a face to face in person basis. So
Right.
can't complain too much.
There
So
you go.
there
There
we
you
go.
go.
No.
I had something else to say, but now I can't remember.
I interrupted your whole thing at the beginning. That's why.
I mean, you understood where I was going. We've done this long enough. I've started these. That's kind of becoming the
Yeah.
intro now, right? Like, if you haven't been here for a while, it's like, oh, here he goes on some random, you know, uh, tangent or random insult that he's going to start the show off with. Like, we all know, and you knew where it was going to go, so it's fine. I don't mind.
It's okay. So there you go. I thought I could interrupt you and it'd be okay.
Yeah, that's usually a pet peeve of mine, but I will let it slide this time.
We need to do a pet peeves part. We haven't done a part 2, or have we done a part 2?
No, we haven't. I almost suggested that for tonight, but you had a better idea, probably a more important idea.
Yeah.
But we will be doing that soon because I don't know about you, but I keep a list. Ever since we did that first one, I have a list of stuff, and I've definitely got I've got some stuff. I got some stuff to say. I also want to do it. I think we should do a top 5 at some point of things that this is another note in my phone. Because unlike you, I'm just preparing all the time, and I plan on showing up every week. Unlike you, it's like, hey, do I want to? Yeah, do I want to? I don't know why you just showed your phone.
I did take notes for this episode actually, just because I needed to. Although I'm not like I don't feel sick, but I have to say that my brain is not as anyway, I may not be able to focus this episode. So I had to make a list.
Oh, very nice. I like how you say that, like, this doesn't happen every week, because I feel like sometimes when we're done recording, you're like, I was not really focused. I could tell. This is, you guys, I don't even know what I'm doing.
Well, this isn't even more not this as sad as that is. This is going to be even more not focused. So I had to take notes. But anyway, interrupted you again. Another pet peeve of yours, but
that's okay. No, it's just
I
understand. You don't care. It's fine.
It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah. Again, it's like it just, I don't want to make light of this, but it's like, it is like the abuse continuing to go back to the abuser. It's like I said, I've said this before. She'll change one day. It's not always going to be like this. I can change her.
They don't change.
I'm letting everybody out there, any other podcaster who has a co-host like this one, just know it's not going to change. It just gets worse. They take more, just like I said last week, the 5, actually in our case, 4 things that, mean that a relationship could be coming to an end. It pretty much spoke to our podcast relationship to a T. So,
you always come back. It's fine.
You see, you people understand how she says that with just no shame. And she laughs like a psychopath. Go back to our other episode where, the screen or the headshot that she sent me. Have you looked at that headshot since I said that?
What? Which one?
Remember I told you last week that the headshot.
Oh yeah, the headshot comment.
It's a very nice picture. It's a very nice picture, but if you look at it, just anybody look at her. I'll post it sometime. Look at this headshot, and then try to like envision in your head this coming up with a narrator talking about how it was, April 2022, and Deb was accused of murder. Like, you could hear it, like I'm making a murderer. You can hear that kind of thing playing over that picture. I can see it.
I don't know if that's a compliment or.
I'm sorry. At what point in that whole thing did you think that was gonna be a compliment? There was no compliment in there. The only compliment was it's a very nice picture.
Oh, thanks.
That's where the compliment ends. The rest of it talks about you looking like a psychopath.
That's all I hear.
It's the smile of someone who's done bad things and enjoyed it.
I mean,
and I don't want to interfere in your dating life, but any guys out there that has a chance of going on a date with Deb, be very, very careful. Like, I'm looking at you guys directly in the camera. Be very careful, because you don't know what she's really thinking. And it's like, oh, the COVID, oh, I'm sick. Don't let it fool you. Like, I think there's, something more going on. That's the real reason why we stopped doing in-person podcasts. It had nothing to do with COVID. I was terrified.
Okay. I mean, you wouldn't be the first, so it's fine. I would heed to Josh's what he just said too. See, I don't disagree with you. This is why you love me as your co-host. He's looking at me like I'm crazy right now.
100%.
You're the one who wants me to come on here and talk. So let's get this show on the road. Speaking of stress, Josh looks really stressed out right now. You probably wish.
Not for me, but for the safety of everybody else. Dev used to have roommates, not anymore. Has anybody checked on those former roommates? I don't know. Just, you know,
Hey, I see them all the time.
I bet
They're,
you do. Yeah,
they're
buried somewhere. We understand. Don't try to play these word games with us. All right. All right, Debbie Mac. What's the topic today?
We're going to talk about dealing with stress. How to deal with stress. I don't know how you want to word it, but I wrote down a list of how I deal with stress.
Okay.
Like a rough, like little, and I don't know why you were texting me this morning saying, of course, because we either hop on and we just start talking, or sometimes we like to plan, or sometimes you like to plan and try to get a topic ahead of time. I don't know why stress popped into my head. I don't know if it's because I was sitting there just trying to, although I do like this like forced relaxation period time in my life where I have to stay home. I also don't like it because I like working. I like just being out there in the world. I want to go back to boxing class. I just want to go back to doing things.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like stressing myself out over that, which in fact I was trying to like tell myself anyway. So I started using my strategies and telling myself like relax, like be grateful for blah blah blah, blah blah blah.
Can I interrupt you real quick though?
Yeah.
As far as what you just said, so obviously when things come up, we talk about how we're stressed. So you're talking about a very specific thing though for you, because a lot of times you'll hear people get stressed over having like a completely full plate, and they're stressed out because like, how am I going to get this done? Am I missing anything? Am I forgetting anything? Yours is a little bit different. Yours is your plate's basically completely empty right now. Right. Not by choice, but because you're being forced to in that position. So a lot of the stuff that you would normally do is no longer on your schedule.
Right.
So what is it about that? Like, this is kind of a weird question, but like, what is it specifically about that is causing stress? Like when you think about your situation currently, where is the stress coming from? Does that make sense?
Well, it's totally my thoughts around it. And that's one of my key points about how how I try to deal with it. So specifically talking about this stressor, about me being at home and not doing my normal day-to-day things, it's my thoughts around it. It's my it's my thoughts of I feel, I should be doing this. I should be at work, in my meetings and helping out and seeing my kids. I should be doing this. And as part of it is FOMO, to be honest. Like I don't even like missing stressful situations. Like that's how psychotic my brain goes sometimes. Like I want to be there to help with stressful situations. Of course, now let me just background you by saying like on the weekends and on vacation times when everyone else, quote unquote, like my coworkers or my close people are also relaxing, I'm fine with that. And we are all relaxing, my coworkers on the weekends and on breaks. This is me, the only one not, in the spaces. So I think it's that part of it that stresses me out. Like, oh, I should be here. This is not the usual. So it's my thoughts surrounding it. So I have to tell myself, just everyone's fine at work. Check that off your list. Like you aren't that needed. Like it's fine.
Yeah.
The show will go on. It's okay. And then, just checking it off the list of like, you are fine if you don't work out for a week, calm down. And then again, if you don't, if you're not out socializing with your friends, you're fine. They can call you and you can talk to them, check that off your list. So it's just, I had to like tell myself all those things. Like, this is fine. This is out of your control. You just need to sit, and maybe this is a needed forceful rest. So as soon as I changed my thoughts around it, my stress immediately alleviates and goes down, because it's totally my thoughts around it. Mm-hmm. Like I don't need to physically be at work right now. Like, this week, I don't need to physically go work out. I'm not going to die. I don't need to physically, the world will go on and I will be okay if I have to sit here for a week just to check the box of all, the rules and, and for everyone else's safety, of course. It's not that I think it's just a rule. But anyway, so I definitely had to change my thoughts around my current situation.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I
Yeah.
think I like what you, I liked what you said because I do think a lot of it, and this is something that I have written down for myself and just in general. I think perspective is a huge part of it. I think when
Yeah.
you find yourself in a stressful situation, at least for me, I can speak for myself, and I think you would agree with this based on what you just said. I think sometimes the problem with stress, or the challenging thing about stress, is that we get a very narrow perspective of our situation, right? We're looking at all of the finest details, and we're allowing them to look like these massive, massive problems that are completely overwhelming. And not only is it just one problem, but it's all of these problems look huge because we're looking at it so closely, and we're so close to the situation. We're in the middle of it, that it's overwhelming. And I think if we step back from the situation and you look at, like, what I like to do is I like to look at the worst case scenario for a lot of these things. Usually when you look at, okay, what's the worst case situation here, you look at that stuff and then it's really not that bad once you step back from it. But it does take that conscious effort to really step back from it. And just like you were saying, hey, you have some awesome coworkers, you have people, like an awesome team that you work with, they're going to be able to handle it. But in the moment, when you're looking at it from like a very narrow perspective, it's like, it looks like the biggest problem in the world because you're not there and that you want to help. And, it's more difficult, and I don't think it's a crazy thing what you said either about, you know, um, not being a part of the stress is actually causing more stress, or not being a part of the chaos is actually causing more stress, because usually you would get in there and be a part of the solution. Right. And so I don't think
Yeah.
that's not, I think a lot of people feel that way with stuff like that. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think it's as easy as just walking away from the stress and then, or the chaos, and then feeling less stress. I think a lot of times for people who are passionate about what they do and care about what they do, that is more, like, way worse stepping away from it than actually being in the midst of it. Um, but yeah, I mean, I think it's a perspective thing. I think that perspective plays a huge part of how
Yeah.
we see stress. And I don't want to say the stress is an illusion, but I mean, sometimes it kind of feels like that, right? Like when you really step back from it, you realize, oh, a lot of this stress is just me causing more of the chaos because of the way I'm seeing it, rather than what's actually existing and how bad the situation actually is. Like, I think,
Mhm.
that's really important. I think sometimes it's, you know, I think having that awareness is really good. I mean,
Yeah.
uh, me as a parent, this is something that Rachel and I have talked about before. Obviously you hear stories, and everybody has, people that we know have kids, and their situations look different. And there's times where we think, man, our situation is really challenging.
Mhm.
But, then you hear other people talk about their situations, and it's like, I don't think theirs is as bad as ours. And then we stop and we're like, it doesn't really matter, because our situation is our situation. And we know people out there that have much more difficult circumstances that they're dealing with, things that we can't even imagine that we would have to deal with, and things that they're having to deal with, and they have kids. And so you look at that, it's like, well, why are we complaining? Because we don't have the same stress or the problems that person has. So really, it's like, yeah, our situation can be challenging sometimes, but it's nowhere near that, what that person's dealing with, and some of the
Yeah.
traumatic things that people are dealing with out there. And so I think if you have that ability to step back and really refocus and reframe the situation, I think it goes a long way when it comes to stress. It's kind of a long thought, but I mean, I just think the perspective is huge. And I think anybody who's not able to do that, or not willing to do that, is probably going to be really stressed out for a long time, because I think you're not giving yourself an opportunity to see it from a different perspective.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And then, yeah, same. I think it's the same, like, what I said, changing your thought. And then what you said, just changing perspective. Like, yeah, totally. Same thing, because um, it's, if I keep bringing thoughts into my head about, I'm just gonna, my current situation, just for example, like, then I keep thinking about how, like, worst case scenarios at work. Oh my God, I should be at work, because what if this is happening with my classes and I'm not there? I can't put, I'm not there to actually, because PE is different. You have to physically grade them. You have to, like, physically see them. They're not really turning in assignments where you can objectively grade it. It's completely subjective. And so anyway, so but that's stress that I will bring upon myself if I keep thinking about all those negative things and think about the worst case scenarios. That is just like, is not going to help anybody. I'm only going to stress myself out more. So just changing my thoughts around, that. Um, and that's with any situation. I was talking to one of my good friends this week, and she's struggling with something. And she keeps bringing up the worst case scenarios of like every angle. Like she's been having to like ask, what I bet this person's thinking XYZ, or what if this person, and I'm like, why stop. I'm like, there is no this is so unnecessary. Like if you keep thinking of, the list will go on and on and on. You are going to not sleep. You're going to stress yourself out. You don't know what this person's thinking. You don't know what this person's doing. You have no idea, nor can you control that. So in my personal experience with myself and with the people in my life, a lot of stress is out of our control, and a lot of the mental pain and even physical pain that we feel from stress sometimes is self-induced, or most of it is. Now, I'm not talking about things like grief, like when a loved one passes away or something traumatic happens. Like something happened out of your control and you can't really change your thoughts around that a ton. Like that is a whole different topic with like, therapy might be needed and all that stuff, but just the day-to-day situations and the what ifs of life and certain, situations, like you can totally stress yourself out even more. So changing your thoughts around it, like you said, your perspective on it can have a huge difference on whether or not you're going to continue stressing about it or not, or, just calm down and relax and focus on what's in front of you for right now. But a lot of people struggle with that. I know I did for a long time. I mean, I'm not perfect. I still do sometimes, but perspective and change in thought is a huge, it's a huge change you can make to not be so stressed out with the current situation. I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it is something that can snowball really quickly.
Oh yeah.
And it's one of those things where I don't necessarily think that people just sit there and stress out. I think it's kind of hidden. It's kind of hidden within just the
I have
chaos
friends
and
who sit there and
craziness.
stress out all the time.
Yeah, sure. There you go. It can happen. I think the more you
Like,
sit down and
stop.
think about
Like,
it. Yeah.
literally sitting there stressing themselves out. Like, stop. What are you thinking? What's going on? Stop it. Stop now. Like you have to have anyway.
Yeah.
What am I?
Well,
Keep
yeah,
going.
obviously that's not a good situation, but I mean, that's a different, a different level. And yeah, obviously people definitely do that. But,
Mhm.
like I said, I think in other situations though, I don't think everybody does that. I don't think it's just,
Yeah.
you sit down and just stress all the time, but I think it's hidden behind the
Yeah.
craziness, the busyness. I think,
Mhm.
um, as you're doing everything, I think the stress continues to build up and build up because you're constantly thinking like 5 steps ahead.
Yeah.
And, again, I keep going back to it, but the perspective thing, I think, and I think it's for some people, it's even simple stuff. Like I think for some people, it could be something as practical as writing down a to-do list. Like if their stress is coming from just the amount of things that they have to do,
Mhm.
and they have to accomplish within a certain amount of time. I think some people are like, I do a to-do list and I can see it written out and then I can check those bad boys off one by one.
Yeah.
Then it's a huge stress reliever because again,
Yeah.
you look at it and when you see it on paper, it's like, oh, in my mind, I thought I had like 100 things I needed to do, but on paper, it's about 15.
Mm.
And I can knock out about five or six of those right now without
Mm.
much effort at all. And I think it's like those little things right now for some people. I mean, you know this as an educator, right? Like there's the different ways that people learn, the visual learners, was it the audible learners? And there's different ways people their learning is optimized
Yeah.
in different methods, right? And so I think it's the same thing with this. Like
Yeah.
writing a list for some people and having a to-do list may be huge, or maybe it's not even a to-do list, but maybe it's just you write down all the things that are stressing you out. And when you
Mhm.
see it, it's like, huh, it's like just doesn't seem as daunting when I write it out. In fact, it might even seem kind of silly, some of the stuff that's causing stress. Cause like you said, it's not really something you can control. Maybe it's not something that's even real. Like you said, It's like if I sit here and think, oh man, maybe does Deb think this about me, or is she upset about this? You know, I don't know. I can't really control what you do. I can't control what your thoughts are. So I
Right.
try my best not to concern myself with that,
Yeah.
because it's just, but again, that's also, I try to be mindful too. And I think you do too. That's probably easier said than done for
Hmm.
some people. That's
Yeah.
not, that is not a difficult thing for me to do.
Hmm.
It's just not a hard thing for me to do. For other people, that's a really challenging thing to do. And so I'm not ignorant to that either. I'm just saying, for me specifically, I don't spend too much time thinking or trying to figure out what people are thinking about, me. If that's one of those things that are causing me stress, like, it's just, that's not a challenge. Now, for
Yeah.
me, what is more challenging is, I was trying to think about this when you text me about stress. I think that I'm pretty laid back. Like, I don't
Mhm.
get stressed. Like, and I was curious for you too, like what your stress tolerance is. But like, my stress tolerance is pretty. I can take on quite a bit before I start feeling stressed. I think where I get most stress is when, I'm not quite able to get something that I would like to do, or that I would really, that I feel is important.
Yeah.
Um, and it's like a simple thing where it's not like I'm so busy I just can't get to this thing. It's when
Mhm.
there's something really simple, and
Mm.
it's like one little thing that's preventing me to get to what I would like to do, and it just drives me nuts. Even if it's like, um, if I had to do something for work, and, like, say for example, say I'm doing something at work, and it like, I don't take a break, right? Like, I don't take like a 15-minute break in the morning. And during that 15-minute break, I was thinking about doing, like, sending out emails and contacting people, or doing something for this podcast. If that 15-minute break is gone and I can't do the podcast stuff, during that time, I'm going to be thinking about, oh, I wish I could do that one little thing that I wanted to do for this podcast, but I just can't get to it. And it's like, when something is just barely out of reach for me, and I really want to get it done, that's the thing that drives me the crazy. That's probably where I get the most stressed out. Like, other stuff doesn't really stress me out too much.
Yeah.
Um, it's really that, like, when there's something that I would like to get done, and there's just like one small thing that's preventing me from getting
Yeah.
there. You know what I'm saying? Like, if it was
Yeah.
like if it was like a bigger thing, it wouldn't be that stressful, because, like, yeah, there's something massive came up
Mhm.
with, like, family or work, whatever it may be. I can't get to what I wanted to do, but it's a massive thing. It's got to get done. It's when that's like a tiny thing. It's like such a small thing that's preventing me from getting there.
Feel like I could have done it.
Right. But it's like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know if that makes any sense, but
Yeah.
it's a weird thing. That's usually what drives me crazy.
Yeah. I'm pretty, my stress tolerance, is it, how do I say it? Do I say it's high if I'm not a stressed out person? Is that how I say it? Kind of like
So
pain tolerance, my
that's how
stress.
I, that's yeah. I mean, that's how I look at it.
Is that
Like,
what you said?
yeah, you can
I'm
take on,
pretty,
like, it's pretty high. You can take on a
right.
lot before you hit that
Um,
point.
I have I have 200 plus teenagers surrounding me at any given point during the day. My stress tolerance is very high, I would like to say, but it's been built upon over the years. Of course, my athletic background has helped me. My dad is naturally very calm, and I think I get that from him.
Yeah.
My whole family is just a very calm. I'm probably the sassiest out of all of them, but I'm very calm still with
Yeah.
situations. And I'm trying to think. Well, and just I know you know this because you have a wife and you have a sister and you have females in your life and you
I
have two
do.
daughters. You have two daughters, so good luck. But women are very hormonal sometimes. We have our ups and downs. So for sure, like there is 1 week out of the month where everything stresses me out. Everything's annoying, everything, I'm cranky, everything like in the, so I other than that, I'm pretty just like if I don't get to something, like kind of like your example at the end of the day, I'm just kind of like ugh, kind of like that, feeling like it's annoying, but then I'm like meh, and I just crack open a truly at the end of the night and I'm like I'm fine, this is all I need to do right now, I'll get to it later.
Yeah. There you go. See, I'm
So
not. Yeah, I think we're probably a little bit different in that way. But yeah, again, I don't think it causes me stress. Like I told you before, even for this podcast, it's like, well, I didn't get to it, and it's like I would have liked to have gotten it done then. But if that
mhm,
means I stay up until 1 or 2 in the morning to get it done, so be it. So, and I think, kind of like what you said with your family, kind of having that background. I mean, for myself, my dad is a pretty very not even pretty very
Yeah.
laid back guy.
Yeah.
um he's a Japanese guy, so there's a lot
Hmm.
of just naturally he's just very patient, very relaxed. So I
Yeah.
like to think I take some of that from him. But then my mom is a very is a super hard worker and a super driven individual, which she was on the Mother's Day episode with my wife Rachel as well. That was
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
um but she's a very driven individual, works super hard, and the amount that she can take on is pretty high. So I like to think I have some of that from her as well.
Right.
And so I think that's why some of the I guess I don't get stressed. I'm like, I tell myself it will get done, one way or the other. It's going to be, whether
Yeah.
it means I need to stay up later, or you rearrange some things so it gets done. Like no matter what, it's going to get done.
Yeah.
um so I think that's where, I mean, again, now the funny thing is though, that mindset would probably cause someone else stress.
Right.
For me it doesn't. Like for me, that's if it's more of a stress reliever, because
Yeah.
it's just, what I'm saying, like it's almost like I can, like subconsciously I can rely on my work ethic and know it's like, hey, you always get stuff done, you'll get it done. It
Right.
may look different than you would have liked it to look, or your schedule might be different than you were hoping, but it's going to get done. Like there hasn't been a time when you haven't been able to get it done,
Yeah.
with the exception of a few extreme circumstances. So I think
Right.
that's always that thing that helps, as weird as that sounds.
Yeah.
um,
No. Um, I think that, yeah, no, that and then for me, if I get stressed to the point of like, I need reassurance, or I need like, oh, someone's got to talk me off the ledge here. I just call my friends, or I call somebody. I have to talk to if I get to that point where I have to talk to someone about it. I do. I don't hesitate. I have my friends do the same to me. We just like tell each other like, okay, am I freaking out? And then they'll lay it all out, and we have to talk to each other, just to kind of get a different perspective. Like you said, it's all about the perspective. But if you're in it, some situations are either too personal for you, or too like what's the word I'm looking for, like just happened, or whatever the case, and you have tunnel vision about it, and you
yeah.
can't see anything else. And so uh vice versa, I talk to my friends and they talk to me, and we have to give each other the entire picture to tell each other like, hey, like, just, you don't need to stress about this because all of these other reasons, and you are only just seeing a small, like tiny field of vision.
Yeah.
So that part is really helpful. If I do get stressed out about something that I normally wouldn't get stressed out about, we usually talk each other off the ledge. Like we're pretty good at that. And that's what I love about my friends, is that my friends don't add more stress to my life. And they usually try to help. We help each other take it away by giving us, each other a different perspective. That's on my list of dealing with stress, is just talking to, people or close people in your life, other than your therapist. If you have a therapist, great. But it's also good to talk to someone who deals with you on a day-to-day basis, who knows you in that manner. I don't know, it could be a female thing too. Girls, we tell each other everything usually.
No, well, yeah, I mean, who knows, that could be it. But I do think, I mean, it kind of goes back to what I was saying about, so if someone if it helped if someone wrote out what they were stressed about, or maybe like journaling, I guess, right? Like some people journal, and that's a huge stress reliever, because they're getting all their thoughts out. It's the same thing. People may like people are like, I don't really want to write this stuff down, but I will have a conversation. And if I can sit down for an hour with a friend, or even 30 minutes with a friend, and just it kind of, like verbal vomit, right? Just get it all out. That might be their version of that. And
Right.
so, I don't necessarily think it's just a guy girl thing, or, I think
Right.
it's just a preference. I think some people, and they may not even realize it, you know what I mean? They may just kind of just jump into it, and not even, it's not like I might be stressed out and I may just, be doing this podcast with you. And then all of a sudden I just start sharing a bunch of stuff, and without even knowing it, all that
Yeah.
stress is gone. Like I'm not setting out to say, hey, Deb, I need to talk to you for like 15 minutes so I can get this off
Right.
my chest. I
Yeah.
might just in the middle of this podcast, like, oh man, I feel like so much lighter because we were able to talk about that now.
Yeah.
That being said, I'm feeling pretty good right now. I'm not
Yeah.
stressed at all right now. So I feel pretty good. But
That
uh,
being said,
what's that?
You're like, that being said, I'm not
I,
stressed.
I I'm pretty good. I'm pretty good. But
Good.
no, it is an interesting thing. And I actually had that down on my notes as well, as far as talking to people. The funny thing is, and obviously this doesn't sound like the case for you because you're surrounded with great people, but I
Mhm.
imagine for some people, it's a weird tug of war, right? Because talking to someone about what you're dealing with and about what you're stressing with and connecting with them on that would be a really good thing for the most part.
Mhm.
But there's also, I think there's some people out there that the idea of talking to people about whatever they're going through would actually add more stress to them. So like there's this weird, like, I don't want to talk about it because I'm just going to get more upset.
Yeah.
It's going to make me more mad and I'll probably be more stressed out by the end of this conversation. Like they may not be the truth, but like that's how they feel about it.
Yeah.
But I think we know for the most part, like when people have conversations with people that care about them and love them and have their best interests in mind and challenge them in those
Mhm.
moments,
Yeah.
it's usually a really positive thing. But for
Right.
some people, I'm like, yeah, that would be a weird thing to
Yeah.
battle with. It's like, yeah, I know I should probably talk to someone about this, but I don't want to
Yeah.
because that's just going to cause me more anxiety and more stress. So it's a very strange thing. You know what I mean?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. And then, and I've personally been in those moments before too, where I'm just like, I can't. And so that's when and it's on my list, that's when I have to go outside and go in the sunshine. We live in California, so sunshine is usually plentiful.
Except for
But
today. What was going on today? What was the
I
deal?
know today and
Gross.
yesterday,
Yuck.
sun is out and then it starts pouring. I don't understand. It's supposed to be sunny tomorrow, so that's good.
It's supposed to be
Um,
like 96 this weekend.
I don't understand what's going on with
I
this
don't know.
weather right now. But if I don't want to talk, I put my AirPods in, I put a podcast on, or music, and I run. I like to run. I know everyone's like, "Bleh," like they don't, you guys, a lot of people don't like to run, but I love running. So I have to go out and run. But even taking a walk in the sunshine,
Yeah.
that vitamin D is clinically like good for you. Like there are studies that are shown that if you are out in the sun for X amount of minutes a day, I don't know the actual statistics. Let me just throw a number out there, 15 minutes a day. I don't know.
We're not scientists here.
I don't know. The sun
Google
is,
it.
the sun's supposed to be good for you and like boost your mood. So just things like that. So just the alternative, which was in my notes, to talking with someone about something is, um, just going outside, being in the sun. And I wrote down the word water. So I wrote down the word water because you need to drink it. And I think to feel better, drink lots of water. And then just being around water, if you have access to water, or just even looking at like ocean waves, like on your phone or on your like Google images or videos of the ocean, like that can be calming too. I don't know. I'm getting all zen here, but just I literally wrote down all the different possibilities of like how I deal with stress, because there's not just a one way for every situation. And there's not like, I don't just talk to my friends, or I don't, just crack open a Truly when I'm stressed. Like I do have a variety of like things that I have to, touch on and check the box for different situations. So, but so for me personally, if I don't want to talk to anyone, which like you made a good point, sometimes you either can't or don't want to yet or whatever, you just need to go, you got to go do something though.
Mhm.
Like I I think the absolute worst thing for stress is just sitting and literally sitting and just thinking about it over and over in your brain. It's just swirling around, like just not going anywhere. So
Right.
changing something and changing your scenery, changing your thoughts, changing your speaking, changing something, you need to go do that. And then that can help a little bit, I think.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think I think if we look at it as getting, like
Mhm.
at some point we have to get the stress out, right? We
Right.
have to get it out of our system, out of our bodies, out of our minds.
Yeah.
And the way I look at it sometimes is like a garbage can, right? You have a garbage can and you fill it with trash, right? All kinds of trash. And it holds it there. It holds
Mhm.
all the trash there and it contains it. But eventually, like, you have to take the trash out, because
Yeah.
if you don't take the trash out, then it starts to smell bad. Stuff inside starts to rot. Stuff is going to start growing inside. It's going to be an unhealthy situation. And then not only that, if you keep putting trash inside without taking it out eventually, then it starts to spill over, right? Because the trash can is only so big. And so if you keep throwing crap in there and just more and more and more and more, and you just let it sit there and it continues to get worse and worse and worse, pretty soon it's going to start overflowing. And then now it's not just affecting you internally inside the trash can. Now it's going to start spilling over into your relationships. It's going to spill over into work. It's going to spill over into all these other areas of life. And now people that were not initially affected by the stress or the garbage that was in the trash can, now it's starting to affect them. And now they're starting to smell it. And now they're starting to see it. And it's going to cause a lot of problems. So I think eventually, whether it's through exercise, whether it's through reading, whether it's through writing, whether it's through, like you said, looking at the waves, the ocean, real ocean, or on your phone, whatever it is, at some point, the stress has to get out. Otherwise, it's going to sit there and continue to get gross and fester inside of you. And it's going to become harmful to you and everybody else around you. So I think it's got to get out somehow. And, there's multiple ways to do it. You know what I mean?
Oh, so many ways. Like, I mean, we haven't, I'm sure there are ways that people could share with us that are none of our ways and totally something different. So I had one of my boxing instructors on the Not Here to Judge podcast, Brett, and we were talking about just tapping into your creative side. Like she paints, and then I like to write stories, novels, whatever. And that is another way, like I realized when I did start writing, I didn't realize at the time, like looking back now and like knowing this for a while, like I was so stressed out that like removing myself momentarily, like not that that was a solution for me at the time, like that I realized, but like just doing something different and kind of channeling my stress into my writing helped a little bit. And I know some people like Brett, who they have to draw, they literally like get their emotions out on the, canvas, easel, whatever. And then I get my emotions out on, on paper or, typing it or whatever. So I think there are definitely multiple ways to get your stress out. Like you said, the trash can analogy, like it's the more things you hold inside, it's going to get full and it's going to spill out over somewhere. So not recognizing that or not getting it out can really like be, harmful for yourself and for others around you, in the future or whatever. So anyway, obviously you and I are not psychologists, psychiatrists, or
far from it.
Or, I don't even qualify myself to give advice on anything at all, except how to do a push-up properly. Like I'm not an expert in anything else, but, we just speak on our own experiences. So I'm just a huge believer in whatever you do with getting your stress out or dealing with it. You just have to get it out somehow by writing out what is actually stressing you out, by saying it out loud. At the end of the day, like, I don't know, I think something needs to happen with that, with just actually instead of just thinking about it and sitting there and thinking about it, something has to come out. So
100%. And I like what you said too. Obviously when you hear people talk about stress, you hear it's like, go get some sun, go for a walk, go for a run, go exercise, listen to music. You have all those simple things, but like you said, everybody has different interests. They have some things that are very specific. I mean, you might be a musician and your thing might be you love playing the drums, and banging away on the drums is the most stress relieving thing that you can do. I mean, it could be anything. Like if you love playing video games, like maybe you sit there and play for an hour, and that's just like it really could be anything. I mean, I don't think there's not one solution. I mean, like I do think, obviously you and I both enjoy exercising. So it's like, the idea of going out into the sun is awesome. We've talked about this before. We don't like the cold. The cold sucks. The summer is awesome. I don't care what people say. I'm going to say it here again. I can't stress it enough. I do not like the winter. It sucks. It's like, well, but 100 degrees is horrible. For you. For me, it's awesome.
Yeah,
I
I'll take
love it.
100 over the winter. I do not like the cold.
I do not like it. And
Mm.
so, um, obviously, that's kind of like that'd probably be the direction that we go. I also enjoy running. So,
Yeah.
that's, something that I would personally do. But I also know that, like I said, somebody might do something that's way like you might like to knit. You can knit a sweater or a blanket
Yeah.
out. Is it, well, I don't know. What do people knit? Do people knit sweaters? I see people knitting. I have no idea what they're doing. I see like the two sticks. It's like they're doing something. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. But yeah, that could be calming and soothing to somebody.
Whatever it is. I mean, it really can be anything. There's not like a one size fits all thing. I think it's whatever, relaxes you and takes your mind off of it. Like you said, I think is the main thing, you know?
Yeah. I think so. Yeah. So anyway, just I think the point of us talking about this too is just anyone who's listening, just to give them an idea of if something hasn't been working for them, or maybe they don't realize that they're stressed out or something. Because when you're sometimes you don't realize sometimes I don't realize I'm stressed until I slow down. And that's when I get sick. Like that's when I physically start to hurt, like my back, my like up here, like where my your shoulders up here. And I try to teach my kids, my students, that when you're internally stressed, pretty soon your body catches up with your physical body, and something starts hurting or you get sick or
Yeah.
something because you're not taking care of your mental up here, because it does come out somehow. So anyway, I just I think just throwing around different ideas for people of how they can deal with stress would be good. And like I said, I'm dealing with the stress of having to stay home and I can't move. And
Right.
so I'm just like, but like for this situation, just dealing with my thoughts around it. And at the end of the day, I'm like, I get to go back to work on Monday. It's fine. Like
Yeah.
no one's gonna, the world is gonna move on. It's okay. And that's
Right.
the other thing. Sometimes you do have to realize, like, it's not, you're not, no, you don't have that much power or control actually. It's like
Yeah.
everything else will be okay. And
Yeah.
you just need to sit back. And I mean, the worst thing you can tell someone is probably to calm down or relax, but that's what you need to do. And this is how you could do it, by some of the things we've suggested or not. I don't know. Maybe people can give us their suggestions on how they relax.
Yeah. I would love to hear it. I think that'd be great. I have a couple questions for you. One, how much One Tree Hill have you watched during this little
Oh no.
time?
Oh no. I'm done with One Tree Hill. I have been this whole week or week. Well, I've been out for almost a week. I have been catching up on the Johnny Depp case.
Oh,
Um,
sure. Like everybody else. Yeah.
I mean, biggest waste of money for sure. With whoever's funding that or however, I don't know. I don't know how, I'm going to sound dumb if I keep talking. I don't know how the legal system works. I don't know. But it's very interesting. I literally just finished, because literally this week they're taking a week off the case and they're going to restart it next week. And they're almost like they're wrapping it up. But I was catching up on the testimonies. I
Okay.
was trying to watch it from day one, but there's 17 days, 7 hours each day of film.
My
And I'm
goodness.
like, oh no, I can't do this. So I fast forwarded to Johnny Depp's testimony, which was like 2 days long, 2 or 3 days. And then I just finished Amber's testimony, which was the same 2 or 3 days long. I don't know. Do you know anything about it? Do you know what I'm talking about?
No, I know what you're talking about.
Okay.
I could not care any less
I know you
about the
could.
whole thing. I,
Oh,
I
totally.
just, I don't know what it is. I'm not even, I've told people this before. Um, I'm not trying to go against the grain. There's nothing inside of me that, like I told you, did I say this out loud? Like, as far as these top 5 episodes, I wanted to do a top 5 episodes of like things I don't understand. I don't get. And I'll just say this, spoiler for that episode, like reality shows and things like this, I do not understand. And I'm not trying to be contrarian. I just don't, there's certain things I'm just like, I don't understand what the fascination is. Like I've seen some of the
Like,
memes and it's like some of the memes are funny.
well,
But like, that's kind of where it ends for me. I'm like, I can't sit here and watch this. Now
no.
I'm a huge sports fan. Some people are like, how do you watch a baseball game 162 baseball games for like 3 or 4 hours. I love it. And so I get that. Like I get other people treat these situations like baseball games or
Like
sports,
how
but
you would treat that. Yeah.
I just
I bet if there was a trial on like a play gone wrong and they had to look at the footage and hear everything, you'd be interested. I could see that. Maybe, maybe not. But this is so crazy because my coworkers are talking about it, and I see what they mean now that I've seen both sides of their testimony. It's bizarre. Again, biggest waste of money. I'm sure I will not be happy with the outcome. I'm sure I'll be like, I wasted how many hours of my life watching this, when everything's said and done. But their testimonies are completely opposite. It's insane. It's like somebody's lying. Who is which one? Because he literally is saying this over here, and she literally is saying the exact opposite of what happened.
yeah.
And so I'm just like, what is happening? Which one's the pathological liar? Are they both liars? What is happening? So once again, I have nothing else to do right now.
Hey, you don't have
I'm
to justify yourself. If you enjoy it, hey,
thoughts.
no judgment from me. I'm not here to judge.
Oh, oh yeah. Hey,
But yeah, I'll be honest with you too. Like Johnny Depp, like I enjoyed some of the Pirates movies, not all of them. There's like at a certain point, I'm like, okay, I got to jump off this ship. But like he creeps me out. Just his general demeanor just creeps me out. Like, who is this man? Like, you're not really Jack Sparrow, dog. Like, what are you doing? But you dress like this all the time. Like, it creeps me out. And then she creeps me out too. She's a psychopath.
they're
Like,
both. I don't.
and
I
that's just a little bit
Yeah.
I know about their story, not even the trial, but just like everything that led up to it and how they had so many problems. Like, oh, you guys are both
Insane.
just crazy
It's
people. Like, this
well,
is wild.
well, and then my brain wanders off, and it makes me wonder how many celebrity relationships are like this, where it's just insane. Just because they get just because of the setting that they're in, they're always like in another country, in a mansion. They're always in this beautiful country in this mansion. And she said in her testimony, she's like, we didn't have a normal relationship. We were always traveling, doing work. We were not doing a day-to-day honey, come home from the grocery store. Blah, blah, blah. So she's like, I understand. So like she kind of painted it for us, and that makes sense. But I'm like, oh my God, how many relationships are like this? But it's insane that it was just the whole thing's crazy. It's stupid. I have nothing else to do. I'm going to be pissed when the whole thing ends and nothing happens from it. I'm sure they'll get back
Yeah.
together. I'll be even more pissed. I'll be like, this is stupid. But
Well, yeah, I mean that's a good point though, and I've heard people talk about this before. Like if you really think about, because I mean, obviously you see the tabloids at the grocery store, you see stuff on Twitter, online about like the different celebrity gossip, right? Like who's dating who's engaged to who broke up with who, all these different things. And if you really think about it, like if you step back and you think about it, uh, these are people, especially if actors and actresses get married to each other or get involved in relationships with each other. These are people who make believe for a living. Their whole life is
right.
pretending to be other people.
Mhm.
It's a very bizarre thing. And so when you have two people that do that for a living and they get
Yeah.
together, like you don't even know it's real. Like, yeah, I'm sure
Yeah.
all kinds of weird stuff. What was that one dude that had the weird like psychotic fetish? What was that dude's name?
Psychotic fetish.
Army Hammer. You hear about that stuff? That was last year, maybe 2 years ago.
No,
Oh,
no,
you didn't hear about that?
no.
Oh,
Who was
okay. So he's an actor. I can't say I've seen him in like maybe one or two things, but I forgot somehow his like DMs got leaked and some text messages got leaked. And his thing was like he would talk about like what's the best way to say this? Like I don't know if mutilating someone is the right word, but like it was like very dark stuff. Like his thing was like I would love to like cut off your toe and like put it on a necklace and carry it around. Like that was
what?
his thing. And some of the stuff like got out. It's like I would love to cut off your fingers. Like, what? You didn't hear
They,
about this? Okay.
I don't know when was this?
I
I'm
want to say it was like a year ago. I think it happened during like during the pandemic. But yeah,
man.
his stuff came out and it was a big deal for a little while because it's like, oh, this guy is wild. It's
Oh
a
my
wild
God.
man. Like this is very bizarre, creepy stuff. Yeah, look into it. You have time. Army Hammer. I'm sure it'll be one of the first things that pops up.
I will be sure to Google that as soon as we stop recording. Ew, gross. There's
But it was
a lot
like dark. It was like dark stuff. It's like, yeah, it's like I've been dreaming. I've been thinking
people.
about you, girl, and would love to cut off your ear. It's like, what? What are you talking about? Yeah,
Oh,
look it up. And if anybody knows the situation, I'm completely wrong. Just let me know. But it was something like that. It's very bizarre.
I think people are psychotic and
Now he's an actor. He lives in a different world. You know what I mean?
and then speaking of like, so on the stand, when she, Amber's on the stand, she is like crying and like being very dramatic. And the protective female part of me goes, oh my God, like, did he really, he really did all that to her? Look at her. And then of course the entertainment side of me is like, oh my God, she's totally acting. Like, this is what she
Right.
does all the time. So I don't know what to believe. So I'm just watching it to watch. I kind of stopped after a while. It was like too much. I was like, this is way too much. This is annoying. So
Hey,
anyway,
enjoy.
that being said, I finished that. I can't watch that right now anymore because it's postponed till next week. But I did start watching a show on HBO Max called The Flight Attendant. My
I
sister,
tried. I tried to
you
watch.
tried? What do you
Huh?
mean tried?
I watched
You
the
didn't
first
like
episode.
it?
I'm like, I don't think I can do
What?
this. I
I
have a tough time
literally
with
can't.
TV shows.
I literally have it on my TV right now, paused when I was waiting for you to log on. I'm on episode 2. I
Of
am
course you
like
do.
this, like glued to the TV, like, oh, what? I'm like nervous for her.
I'm sorry.
I'm
So
like,
is this podcast just a speed bump in your
oh,
television
it
viewing
totally
experience?
is. I'm gonna play it as soon as we log off. I'm
I
gonna
just need
keep
him to shut up. Yeah.
but so my sister recommended it to me and I was like, she told me about it and I was like, yeah. And I just turned it on a little bit ago today and I was like, what? And I texted her and I'm like, oh my God, this is insane. And she's like, I know, right? It must be, I don't know. I think it's just it might be a female thing. I don't
No,
know.
I think Jordan watched it or is
Oh,
watching it. But that being said, I can't remember if he's like enjoying it. It might be one of those because I'm sure. Have you done this before where there's like a TV show that you watch and then it
mm-hmm.
gets to a certain point where like, dang, I don't really
Well,
want to watch this anymore. But like I'm like that for me, and
yeah,
I didn't finish this show yet, but like The Walking Dead, I was into it for a while, and
yeah.
then it's like, man, I feel like it's almost like I'm just watching it because I have to. It's like I'm
I
stuck in this thing, and then I
yeah.
did give up eventually. But
I will say that there are popular TV shows where people would ask me, do you watch it? And I'd be like, I just couldn't get into it. And they're like, what? And I'm like, I don't like Stranger Things. Tried it. I couldn't get into it. That it's not for me. It's not something I'm interested in watching.
didn't try it.
I literally watched the first minute or two of Yellowstone and I turned it off. Like I can't,
Oh, Deb.
I no, I can't. I can't do that. If they're gonna shoot a horse or whatever, I can't. It's turned off.
Oh, is that's okay? Well, that makes more sense then. I thought you
Like
just
I
didn't find
can't.
it interesting. I'm like, it's a really good show.
I should
Um,
give it another try, but if the show starts off bad,
ah,
I can't. I can't do it. It
if
like me.
okay, I'll tell you this. I'm gonna save you the time and the
Mhm.
energy. If you're not, I mean, if the horse shooting thing is going to be bothersome to you, you probably shouldn't watch the rest of the show.
Well, and like, I, it sounds so bad. I swear I'm not psychotic, but like, I think most people agree with me. But like in shows, like of course people die and like people are like getting murdered or whatever. That's how the flight attendant starts out. But for
Yeah.
some reason, when they kill an animal, I'm
Hmm.
like, why you didn't need to do that. I just don't I don't like that emotional aspect of TV shows, and I just can't. I'm like, nope.
And you mean like why did the writers include it, or why did the character do it?
Yeah,
Because I'm like
that's
in Yellowstone, I think that was the most humane thing that guy could have done.
I know, but
But I
still,
see what you're saying. You're talking about like the writers and why they had to include that in the show.
yeah, like
I
why?
gotcha. Yeah.
Anyway,
You're not
so
alone. You're not alone though. I know. I no seriously. I mean, I know a lot of people that
yeah,
feel that way. Like
yeah.
they'll do the same thing. It's like, yeah, I can't do it. That being said, that show is awesome. So anybody who's not bothered by a horse getting shot, it's pretty good.
Josh is like,
Um,
whatever.
yeah. And
I
if you
know.
enjoy that type of thing, don't worry. More horses get
Great.
shot too.
Oh,
You will not be disappointed.
I've heard so many good things about it. I really should give it another try. I'm sure it's a great show. I'm not bagging on it. I just couldn't get past.
Honestly, I don't care about that stuff though. Like you can bag on that show all you want.
Just
I really enjoy it. My youngest brother Justin got me into that one,
yeah.
which he felt really accomplished by getting me into a TV show because I'm I just don't jump into a lot of shows.
Yeah.
Like I don't watch a ton of shows at one time.
Yeah.
Yellowstone's one that I do watch.
Mm.
I'm trying to finish up the Ozarks right now.
Oh, that one I started watching that a long time ago and I don't know what happened. I got sidetracked or
It's
whatever.
a it's
But
a dark it's
it
a
was
dark
good.
one. It is
It
good.
was good. I don't mind the dark. I don't
Yeah.
mind the dark shows as long as animals aren't being killed for no reason. Yeah, Josh rolls his eyes. And
No, not
for
rolling. No, not rolling my eyes. I'm trying to think Ozarks.
I don't
I'm
know.
trying to remember.
You're trying to remember. Oh, I don't
Trust.
know.
I'm trying to spare you some time. I'm like, no, like I said, that doesn't bother me. I understand that people have that
We
connection
know
to
it's
animals.
funny and like I'm not again like I grew up hunting, like my dad's a hunter, like I got my hunting license, like I don't know, like I just don't want to watch it for entertainment like on TV, like it just makes me feel a certain way. I
It's like
feel
if
bad.
anybody's gonna shoot the animal, it's gonna be me.
And we're gonna eat it because that's like a people, that's what steak is, that's what hamburgers are, sorry. Like it used to be
Sure.
an animal, like
But in that case, you're using the animal, and then you have control over. You're not wasting the animal. You're using it as much as you can. I mean, I've
yeah.
heard people talk about that. I'm not a hunter at all. I've never been
It's
hunting, but I get that.
bringing it full circle, it's my thoughts surrounding it, so it stresses me out when I see animals die.
Don't watch Yellowstone. You watch Ozark with caution. I'll say that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you watch? What about? Sorry, this has turned into a TV podcast. But did you watch Game of Thrones?
Yeah, I can't watch it alone because I have way too many questions. I don't
We've
know.
had this conversation.
Yeah,
I thought that was a ridiculous thing to say, and now it came back to me.
I
That's
have
right.
I have way too many questions. I mean, I think I've actually seen, I tried to start it on my own. I swear for like the third time, because I've seen it. I've seen almost the entire series. I think I missed the last season. I kind of just zoned out. I watched it again, not all of it. And I was like, meh. And I tried it again. And then I understood what was going on because it took me that many times to watch it. The first time I watched it ever was with one of my ex-boyfriends a long time ago. He had to pause it like every 10 minutes because I'm like who is this? What is happening? Why does this person want this person dead? Why are we in a different country now? Who is this person? I had so many questions. And he like very patiently had literally tried so hard to explain everything to me and I still didn't get it. So
And that's why he's an ex-boyfriend now. Game of Thrones
basically I just
broke up the relationship.
yeah, exactly. Like she asked too many questions.
Yep. Nope. End this now so I can enjoy the show in peace.
Yeah. So anyway,
I've never watched it. I have no desire.
it's
Honestly, if I
a
like
lot
flying
fun.
dragons, if they shot the dragon, would you have a problem with that?
No, no, no.
It's gotta be a real animal.
It's got to be a real animal. But
Yeah.
I liked that part of Game of Thrones, the dragons. That was the coolest part. See, like you're like, no, that storyline, the Targaryens, I liked that part of Game of Thrones. Everything else was just kind of like, meh. It's just people fighting and riding on horses. And of course, everyone's, killing each other for the crown. But the dragon part was super cool. Interesting.
I pass on all of that.
Probably because
I have an issue with I enjoy like the Marvel stuff and like
yeah.
I'm a huge Batman fan, which is a little bit different. But like when it comes to like the super like the weird like sci-fi like there's like a theme here like wizards and stuff like that. Not interested. Dragons not interested.
You don't
Game
like
of
Harry
Thrones,
Potter then?
I've never seen Harry Potter. I read the first book, but I've never seen the movies. I've never seen Lord of the Rings. I've never seen Game of
See, I can't do
Thrones.
Lord of the Rings.
But
I
like all
like
those
Harry
things to me are like
Potter.
the same thing. It's like dragons,
Yeah.
wizards, dudes with long beards. Not interested. Not my thing. And I know that offends a lot of people. I'm sorry, but just don't invite me to ever watch those movies with
Just
you.
lost so many followers.
I'm cool with it. I
But
stand
we're
here.
both. I don't watch Lord of the Rings either. So we're both, and on that end, I couldn't get into it.
It's just not my thing. I love Billions. There's a show called Billions on Showtime. That's one of my favorite shows. That's a lot of fun. That's a good one. No horses being
Okay.
shot. Yeah, so that would be a safe one. That's good to know though. If I ever recommend a show to you, I'm gonna keep that in mind because like I said, I'm not rolling my eyes at all. I get that. Like people have that thing. So
animals. No.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I like how that turned into a TV show rec
Yeah. Just
recommendation.
in case if that's your stress reliever,
That's how we, yeah.
there you go. Cool.
Exactly. That was
Yeah.
cool.
Anything else? Anything else
Cool.
you want to say or share or talk about?
Um, well, I was gonna upload another episode of Not Here to Judge today, and I'm just getting to know my Mac book a little better. And my computer was frozen for a while. And then after a while, it finally said iCloud is full. So I had to get out my phone and text the other day and be like, what does this mean? My iCloud's full. What do I do? So she was like, you have to buy storage. So I had to, anyway, that was fun. So I'm a little late in dropping some new episodes, but you know what? That's okay.
That's okay because by the time this episode drops, that should be out. And
if I get to it.
What's today? Today's May 10th. All right, you got some time. So well, never mind, everybody. If you're not able to listen to this current episode that Deb's talking about, then go back and check out some of the other episodes that she's done. And then go back and check out some of our other episodes of Connectable.
Yeah.
That if you're especially if you're new to the game and you've missed a lot of episodes, we have some really fun ones. We've had a lot of fun ones. And
I thought you were gonna add fun ones that Deb wasn't in, but
I was. You read it. Dang it.
That's why I started laughing. Yeah, you guys can go back and listen to many episodes of Josh making fun of me. It's great.
Yeah, sometimes I don't. And then even like I said before, even sometimes when I don't intend to, someone brings you up. I'm like, well, not my fault. We got to address the elephant in the room. Yes, you're right. She's not here again. And, this is basically a one-person show.
Feel so loved. Everyone misses me.
Yeah, that's one way to look at it. Can you imagine if you treated your students like this? It was like, yeah, some days I show up, some days I don't. Most of the time you have a substitute teacher.
I'm not there right now. I have some of them emailing me, where are you? Come back. And I'm like, no, I'm never coming back.
Is that what this really is? This is really a ploy, just like this podcast. Like, you're not sick. Let's be honest. You're not sick. This is like, hey, what absence makes the heart grow fonder. That's what you're doing for your students, right?
Yeah.
You picked us like a horrible sub. It's like, oh, I know this person's the worst sub. Enjoy this for a week, you little suckers. Take that. Is that what's happening here?
Exactly. You just can't tell anybody.
Good thing we don't have that many listeners, so it's all good. So, well, okay.
If Nicole's listening, she won't tell anybody.
No,
she won't.
Yeah. Does Nicole bring this up? Like, hey, did you just quit Connectable? Does she even bring it up? Like, oh, or she's like, hey, it's been kind of nice.
Yeah, she hears my voice all the time. She doesn't need to say any more than necessary.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. One area of life is enough.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So yeah.
Well, this was good. This was a nice little stress reliever. Thanks.
Oh yeah, no problem. Yeah. No problem. I'm glad that's how you see this podcast.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was nice. Get something off my chest and won't see you again for 5 months. Cool, Deb.
Hey, I'm busy doing Not Here to Judge, and you're not here to help me, so I have to figure it out on my own. Which that was
hold on.
Hang on. Josh did a really good quick tutorial for me, and now I'm all set with that. So I have to give you kudos to that. Poor guy.
Of course you did, because you're right. I did all that stuff for you. Set you up with the intro. I love you. You started this off by saying, I'm not there to help you. I did everything.
Oh, I know. You did help me. That's what I was trying to say. Now I'm doing the rest of it. And because I'm so used to you doing the Connectable stuff. Anyway, no one wants to listen to this part, but
no,
anyway.
this is, we should have kept this off here.
So anyway, I see you're paying all the editing and not editing, but just putting an episode out there. It's a lot of work.
All right. That's very nice. Too late. You've said what you said, and it's too late. Can't backtrack now. That's fine.
You can't backpedal now.
No, it's too late. All right.
All right. It's time.
All right, Deborah. Where can they find us?
You can find us on Twitter at Connectable Pod, Instagram at Connectable Podcast. We have Facebook, we have YouTube, and that's it. Is that it? Miss anything?
Nope, that's it. You nailed it.
I still got it.
And if you guys can give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, we would definitely appreciate it. And write a nice little review. We would appreciate that as well. And that would help my stress. It's like, oh, it's nice seeing a 5-star review.
Yeah.
You know, so if you could do that, that'd be fantastic. So
puts a smile on our face.
It does.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. Deb doesn't even know how many. Do you know how many reviews we have?
No, I don't even know how many reviews. Not here.
That's actually. I'm glad I brought this up. Last thing before we get out of here, you have not written a review for our own show.
I haven't.
Okay. On that note, we got to go, everybody. See you guys.
Bye.
Thanks for watching the show. If you enjoyed that episode, make sure you like it, share it, and hit the subscribe button to get a new episode every week. We'll see you next time on the Connectable Podcast.